Well, good morning and welcome to Forgotten Liberty Radio. We are missing Justin this morning, but John is here. John.
Justin's out working, making
Justin's
money.
out working.
So, members of the North State will be glad to hear that Justin is sober today and
Yes.
and functioning 100% for your motoring safety, flagging a construction site. Because that's part of what they do over there at Safety Light in Modesto, make signs, sell equipment, and provide services to a construction industry. I'm sure Matthew's sober.
I absolutely am.
Yeah, I'm sober. So.
For anybody who's listening to this post live stream, we live stream this show every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Rain or shine, most mornings. It does look like we are on YouTube now. I've got it to live stream to YouTube, so welcome YouTube viewers if you're watching this there.
Well, you should subscribe.
Join us on the live. Subscribe. I mean, find our podcast feed. That's the easiest way to listen to us. But if you're around on Saturday mornings, we want participation. We want questions. We want engagement. So if you're a regular listener of the show and you've never tuned into a live stream, please, please, please do so. We'd love to have you.
Right. So all you got to do is you got to go there, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit the little bell. They'll give you the notifications.
Yeah, hopefully it'll give you a notification for when we go live next, because I will hopefully be making this a regular part of our streaming show.
Well, maybe we get on other platforms too. But right now, we're just utilizing our Facebook page and our YouTube page. So,
the thought is eventually get on some other live stream platforms, but it's slow going. So,
well, I think for some of the people I know personally, Sharon Durst doesn't do Facebook, but Sharon does do YouTube, so she
might be able to listen
could
in
get
there,
a YouTube notification there and pop up on YouTube, comment, what have you. You kind of take care of telling us what the commenters are saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get to that eventually, and get it to the point where I'm getting all comments like streaming up for you.
Right. Unfortunately, John's been pretty busy this week. I've had some malfunctions with brake systems on tank trailers and such, and didn't have a chance to get a nice spreadsheet for Matthew to post for you guys. In that extremely busy state, I did get you some more COVID numbers from proposed state number 7. That would be Los Angeles County by itself. Americans Restoring Representation in our 8 from 1 divided together state split initiative are suggesting that Los Angeles be its own state. With a population, 2019 numbers again, 9,974,203 persons. The county of Los Angeles, or what would be the state of Los Angeles should 8 from 1 be successful. They've had 3,590,000 coronavirus cases. That's the latest information as of this morning, with 53,838 deaths. Now their case to population rate is 35%. Pretty much astronomical compared to everybody but Mono County that we've covered so far. Almost 3 times the average of all the other counties. Now, their death to population rate is still 0.0539%. So, they're doing a lot better death to population than even some of the Central Valley counties. And then their death to case rate is 0.0149%. So that's right there
It's just following
actually,
the state, right?
it would be 1.497%. I have a decimal place error there. Again, the death to case rate is 1.49%. So the 1.49%, yeah, absolutely, right there in with the state average. But we're told that L.A. is bad and the Bay Area is bad. So you need to stay on those county boards and local city councils to get our stuff back open.
And triple mask, apparently, is what I'm seeing the trend.
Triple mask?
Yes. I have seen people triple masking.
I have no mask.
I know people who wear a mask that's the actual filter. They wear a second one that's like a fabric one on top of that, and then they wear one for looks.
Yeah, because they're idiots. Except
I saw this individual wearing the pretty one in the middle of that stack the other day, and I was like, okay, that's...
Well, they didn't want to get the pretty one soiled, so they had to have a protector.
Apparently so. One. Apparently. I don't even know. I have no idea. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think the whole thing's gross.
The whole thing's ridiculous.
I think it's gross.
It's ridiculous.
Anyways, Gavin Newsom, I believe it was Thursday morning's press conference.
Sounds about right.
I think he did it in San Joaquin County. He said there are 57,000 variants of coronavirus 19. 57,000
variants. That's a lot of different variants.
So at what time does a variant infect enough people to become its own named virus? And at what point in time do our people standing with the governor when he says these stupid comments like that just like shake their head publicly on camera? They're all stoic. Well, they all stand there like this is legitimate information. And the 57,000 different variants of the coronavirus. We need to be cognizant and aware of this, and the ones coming out of South America and South Africa. Da 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 da.
Well, and at what point? I mean, Newsom. Look, like all people are human, right? You make mistakes, but Newsom has staffers to help correct him on that kind of stuff.
But the
so if he misspeaks, then that's the staffer's job and responsibility to either issue a press release and a statement, or like correct them.
That they believe it's a misspeak.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's that too.
Right.
But we're supposed to follow the science, right?
The science says we're in the purple tier still, and the numbers say we're in a. I don't know how they justify.
The numbers say that we're not in a pandemic.
Right, because there's not really a...
The numbers say if you're at high risk, stay home. If you aren't, go out.
Well,
live your life as normal. That's what Texas and Florida have been doing. That's what South Carolina's been doing. It's fine.
We don't know what the numbers say, though, right? Because the numbers aren't accurate.
But even the numbers that we do have say there's not a pandemic.
Right, but if the numbers were 100% accurate...
Yeah.
They would say, what? Even less than what I've read to you the past 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When the CDC comes out and says, well, the tests are crapshoot. I mean, we're rolling bones when we take a test. We might as well be back there with the bookie.
You're right. Did the CDC change over leadership between the Trump-Biden administration?
Well, it's public-private, same? So what do we don't know.
Well, but like, well, yeah, I know it's public-private, but there's some sort of interface, right, between CDC and the government.
I'm sure, and that's...
I wonder if that changed.
You put your finger over that so you make a mark. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, that's fucked up Fauci.
Yeah, right.
And the guy's been effed up since the 80s.
You
know what was a scare in the 80s? Don't even let someone with HIV touch you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't remember that, but I know what that's about. Yeah.
The fear implanted in people was like this was the thing that was going to kill us all, and who was on the ground floor of that? Fauci.
I did not realize that.
Fauci's been ruining people's lives with his unfounded science for how damn long?
Years, apparently.
Yeah, well, now we know. You can buy a pill called the PrEP, man, and after you've taken PrEP for a certain amount of time, well, you're clear and you don't even test, positive for HIV or AIDS anymore.
Dude, he's 80 years old.
Yeah.
I did not realize. I mean, I don't watch, I very
well, you know what the problem is?
Watch videos of him, but wow.
Yeah, you know what the problem is, and it segues into the problem that we're having in Ceres on the council, right? It segues into the problem we're having in general in the political atmosphere. Okay? If you look at Gavin Newsom, he's on the young side of governors nationwide.
Yeah, he is.
Our political leaders are aging boomers. And now you have guys like me in our early to mid 40s wanting to step up, wanting to voice our opinions, and we're still being told by these 80 some year old, okay, and I'm going to say 50-year-olds to death are still telling us to sit down, shut up, and respect your elders. We're running this shit. You're not running the show. It's our turn. Most of the founders were under 30 years old in this nation.
Yeah, well, isn't that why some of the age restrictions exist in the Constitution?
Well,
in part, it's not in full,
I'm not sure that what's the age restriction? The age restriction is on how old you need to be president.
Yeah. Senator too, right?
Well,
Senator, I think it's 30. Is that right? I think that's
okay, but these guys were even younger than that.
Yeah.
But what they should have done is they should have put an age cap on things.
Well, I would say term limits, not so much cap, because there's definitely 70 and 80-year-olds that are capable of doing the same job as a 30-year-old, but those aren't necessarily, 100% of all 70 and 80-year-olds.
Dude, I can confuse the shit out of my grandmother. Out of your grandmother.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm confusing the shit out of people on Facebook that are younger than me.
Well,
they're not quick enough to keep up.
I think
right? I got high school special education teachers that have no reading comprehension.
Well, I've said kind of semi-recently that over the age of 65 or thereabouts, there should be a yearly driver's test renewal.
I don't agree with that, but I think when you're 75, okay, I'll go that far.
Okay, 75, that works. But there should be an age at which you start having yearly driver's test renewals. Because I'm watching, there was a guy recently here in Turlock who was, I think he was killed and a passenger was killed when he turned onto the tracks when a train was oncoming.
Here's where I'm at, and it shouldn't be a yearly review of whether you can drive or not, but rather a safety review.
Okay with that. I'm not necessarily saying here you have to retest your license, but some sort of yearly review of the ability for you to keep your permit.
Okay,
I think your license rather.
I think we can do it all very easily.
Yeah.
And I've already said that there shouldn't be a license requirement unless you're engaging in commerce.
Okay with that too. Yeah.
You, your spouse, myself, anyone else driving their personal vehicle is no different than Joe pulling a hand cart, or riding a horse to the general store to get his groceries.
Yeah. Well,
that's not commerce. That's personal sustainment.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't even have to register our vehicles. See, a horse has been a horse, of course, since day one. And no one ever made you get a license for your damn horse.
Right. Well, and 8-year-olds rode horses all the way up to 90. I mean, the one difference would be is that horses tend to be a little, like you're not going to accidentally steer them into a wall, you know. But the idea is still the same as far as, what do you mean?
Well, the horse is going to stop before it hits
right,
the wall.
Right. The car's not going to, but the idea still exists that it's the same mode, mostly the same mode of transportation.
My great-grandfather had a horse that would throw him off and not let him ride her if he was drunk.
Oh, well, there you go.
She'd make him walk home.
That's really funny.
So now you had unaccompanied horses out there just walking themselves home, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the
That's
Tesla.
hilarious.
No, the Tesla cars can do it today.
Yeah.
Right? And we have had reports of people pulled over, police officers stopping a Tesla with 2 patrol units because the guy's passed out drunk, letting the car auto drive itself.
Yeah. I've seen, I saw a video of somebody who's using the summon feature. The Tesla ran a stoplight, cop pulled him over, and the guy's like 15 feet that way. That was pretty funny. The cop was like, so who do I ticket? The car? The person? Elon? He was confused. That was funny.
You ticket the person.
Yeah. Well,
because he is like remote controlling that vehicle.
He is, but the problem is that I don't know enough about that feature. I mean, it's getting into the weeds too far, but like, you know, I don't know enough about that feature to know whether.
Doesn't
from what
matter.
I understand,
there should be a fail-safe where you can kill it.
Yeah. At a stoplight.
If you're going to summon your vehicle to come driving to you, okay, even if it's battery operated 2,700-pound car.
Yeah.
And you tell it, hey, come over here and pick me up along this curb where my key fob is.
Yeah, you still have to follow traffic restrictions.
You should be in plain eye view of that vehicle at all times, and there should be a fail-safe to cancel that vehicle's movement. So who do you ticket? You ticket the idiot that allowed it to run the stop sign. Because
exactly.
He should be able to cancel that. You want to tell me that as smart as Elon Musk is, he doesn't have that panic or that cancel feature built into that key fob?
Yeah.
This guy's just being a jerk. Hey, look, there's a cop over there. I'm going to summons my car.
Oh, no, he didn't do it on purpose.
It's going to go past there.
He didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, probably not, because he's not even intelligent enough to think about what this feature does and that there's a stop sign in between him and the car. Because we're breeding morons. Just because you can procreate doesn't mean you should procreate, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm fat and out of shape anyways. I need to walk to my car. I don't need my car coming to me. Can you imagine the 600-pound shell of a man I'd be if I asked my car to come see me?
We're creating a lazy society.
No,
I understand that.
We're way past a lazy society, bro.
I understand. I have seen a usefulness for a feature like that. You're out in the rain, you were out shopping, it started raining. I've had this happen to me before, back when we had big thunderstorms here. And I didn't want to go get the car. That would be nice, right? I didn't bring an umbrella. I don't have a jacket. It started raining kind of out of nowhere. But, I don't know, I'd rather go to my car. Just go walk to my car and find it. I don't know, it's annoying.
There I go with the sound on. I'm trying to multitask.
You're trying to find something?
Yeah, actually.
What are you trying to find?
Unfortunately, I'm not even subscribed to my own channel on YouTube.
Wow, we're down a subscriber because of you.
I'm trying to multitask and do that while I speak here. So, I don't know, what was that? Oh, August 24th, 2019. I guess the logo's right there for that episode then, because, at that time we was doing that other thing.
I'm confused. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was the JLR
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah.
So, in other news, the Ceres
how's Ceres these days?
Ceres City Council had a special meeting there yesterday. Thursday, the 4th, Thursday.
Okay.
Again, another waste of time.
I was going to say, it's another waste of time, right?
Yeah, it's a waste of time. John was extremely docile. Our listeners will be proud to know I was extremely docile.
Jeff can't describe you as irate.
Jeff will probably confuse the Bluetooth sound for extreme anger.
Yeah, probably.
Did you prep that article to pull up to
I did not, but give me a second.
Because Jeff Benzinger's an idiot. He needs to retire. He needs to go away. He needs to quit writing lies about people. Jeff Benzinger is a closeted liberal. Jeff Benzinger is a proponent of big government. Jeff Benzinger is a proponent of nepotism. Jeff Benzinger has no idea what the concepts or principles of liberty or self-governance are. Jeff Benzinger's licking Lori Smith's ass because he won't even take into consideration the things I say about her ability to run the parks. He clearly says in his editorial in Wednesday's Ceres Courier, that would be March 3rd, 2021.
It would be nice if the Courier had a chronological feed of their posts. I'm having a very difficult time finding posts. I go scroll through like 5 posts and I'm back in 2018. I don't understand this.
Well, how's the Turlock Journal?
Oh, it's the same, and I believe the Monasto Bee is the same as well.
Oh.
They just don't order their posts chronologically.
But that got nothing to do with the Turlock. So it'd be Turlock Series Manteca. That's the same media group.
Yeah. Well, regardless, all of their websites look about the same, and all of their websites function about the same. They don't have a good way to say, here, list me all the posts in chronological order from the last week.
Yeah, they're dumbasses. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm working on it.
I just want to,
What's the name of the article or the
it's his
editorial?
Editorial. I don't know. Jeff Benzinger, Jeff Dumbass. Jeff drops the ball. We know. I don't know. We need to pull up that, we've already talked about the mobbed up thing.
Experience is needed for the city council. Is that the name of the editorial?
Maybe. What's the date on it?
Updated March 3rd, 2021.
That would be the one.
All right.
An irate
Let me
truck
put this
driver.
up. Hold on.
He probably gets mad when we do this stuff.
Well, you know what? This is journalism. Or news or whatever we do here.
I don't know what we do here.
I don't know what we do here either.
I don't, whatever. I do what I do, and that's all that I do. Actually, at Thursday's meeting, I actually introduced myself as, a host of Forgotten Liberty Radio podcast and board member Central Valley Taxpayers Association.
All right, experience is needed for this council.
Yeah, but, he likes to portray me as an irate truck driver. Never in any of his articles where he describes me does he list the things I said in the very first meeting where I'm an Eagle Scout. That's not.
Yeah, of course.
Being an Eagle Scout at the time I achieved that was not equal to what he wrote an article in his paper about the 2 girls that achieved it. And the only reason he gave them kudos was because they're girls and they got an Eagle Scout Award from the Boy Scouts of America. I'm going to go all Ben Shapiro here. They should be Girl Scouts, not Boy Scouts. Yeah. It's okay to segregate ourselves based on gender.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
And big G gender.
Right.
Do you have swinging meat or no swinging meat? And let's be clear, the penis is not a fatty organ where the breasts are. So when you talk about meat and fat, there's a difference. And that's the science, people.
That's the actual science.
Yeah. Because if I was slaughtering a cow, I don't keep her teats.
Yeah.
So it ain't meat. Some people may like to try a phallus organ. I know people eat tongue, people eat brain. I'm sure someone in the world eats penis.
Probably.
But that's a whole different subject.
It's a whole different subject.
I personally wouldn't eat penis, but there are people that eat testicles.
Yeah.
Those same people wouldn't go in and eat an ovary, and those are pretty much identical. So that's the science. Dr. Fauci will argue with me.
Probably.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you want to read this here?
Oh, well.
For those who are listening, or if you're listening after the fact, there's a link to this in the show notes. Check out our show notes. I usually try to curate all of our links and information there, so that you have a good source of information of what we're talking about, and we don't just leave you blind. Like John mentioned last week, I put even some of the most obscure references into our show notes.
I didn't even look.
The adrenochrome stuff from a few weeks ago, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I put very obscure stuff just to make sure that people are aware of what things are.
You know, the funny thing, though, that Mandela effect is being talked about on everybody's podcast.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So who am I louder than?
Crowder?
Yeah, they talked about it.
Oh, really?
See how I did that?
Yeah, I see how you did that.
I'm louder than Crowder.
I see how you did that. Was it on the regularly scheduled show, like the one that comes out that's free, not their subscriber one?
Yeah,
I don't subscribe to that.
Wasn't on the Mug Club or nothing.
Yeah. I want to. I need to. The problem is that.
Do they charge for that?
Yeah, it's like $10 a month. It's not that much.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm a member of the Blaze Media Network. Why? I already paid Blaze.
Yeah. Then you should be fine. You should have access then. You should have access because can you watch like Mark Levin's show?
Yeah, I can watch anything.
You can watch Louder Than Cutter then. Yeah. I just don't have any subscriptions like that. I even canceled my Turlock Journal subscription too. I had it for a bit.
$65 a year or whatever,
Yeah, I need to just do it because I would like to listen and watch Mark Levin's show. He's very good.
Well, okay, so sometimes I watch, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But okay, so I listen to Chad Prather because
right.
He can be funny as hell sometimes. And really, people, I don't need to know about Texas politics. I don't need to know about national politics. I get enough of that stuff, right? Yeah. But some of these guys I just listen to for the comedy value. Okay? Glenn Beck has specials every now and again where he does actual education.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. Sometimes it's just worth it to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, it's like $3 a month or something.
Yeah, my problem is just that the amount of time that I would need to dedicate to even starting to use that is a lot more than I just
go scroll and see what they got, and if it's of interest, I'll watch it.
Yeah. I don't sit in a truck all day, but I do listen. I do still listen to a lot of podcasts. I just don't always have the time to listen to other stuff.
Their user interface is a bitch to deal with.
Is it?
Yeah, if you're going to try to listen to their shows through their app, it's as bad as listening to Paul Preston on the Red State Talk Radio app. It's just
that's saying a lot too.
It's rough.
It's saying,
and it may be an iPhone issue because the way the iPhone works with certain things while it's Bluetooth is kind of, at least with my radio, the stereo in the truck.
I mean, yeah, but that's a pretty common thing for people to listen to podcasts in their car on a Bluetooth. I'm lucky in that I have CarPlay on my car, but it's the same idea. Like, you need to have support for that kind of stuff. It frustrates me because as a software engineer, those are the types of things that need to be.
But it may just be my devices. If I go to turn it up or turn it down, then it jumps over to my iTunes music. You know, it's like,
yeah. It's possible, that is.
It's a pain. It's just ridiculous. So you got that pulled up? You ready to read about?
Yeah.
You
ready?
An irate truck driver. Mm-hmm.
No. It says a truck driving resident of Ceres this time. That's your title this time.
Right, but he keeps going to truck driving resident or this or that, right?
Well, and I don't understand. There's a lot more to, especially, so like the first time you said, I'm a truck driver, right? I mean, they kind of know you as a truck driver.
No, I said I'm a lifelong resident,
the second time you called in, right?
Well, I let them know what I'm doing.
Confused about which times you said which, but at some point, the only qualification you gave was I'm a truck driver and a resident.
No, I'm driving a truck.
Point, oh, okay.
And I have to keep hitting this unmute button.
Yeah. Okay.
When Diane, the city clerk, says, Mr. Osgood, I will unmute your mic, I shouldn't have to then go over and unmute on my phone in the Zoom application. And as Matthew will read in a minute, he blasts me. But you know what? I tried your suggestion where I swipe left or I swipe right from the video to go into a mobile mode, and it won't do it.
That's ridiculous.
So it's something on their end.
Well, and a lot of times, like, they're on an enterprise plan or a whatever public service plan, and I think there's a lot of different controls and stuff that they can remove or put in place for that. And so I have a feeling it's a lack of IT experience and
we have a real problem with the screen sharing and what the council can see on the television screen inside the chamber versus what the people on Zoom can see.
What's the issue there?
Okay, so like you put this up.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. People, I keep looking at my phone because I'm switching between the Facebook and YouTube feeds just to see, what the current delays are, where things are.
Yeah.
What you people are seeing, right? I can clearly see here YouTube we're running about 2 seconds behind. And the reason that Tom Westbrook, the city manager in Ceres, has told me that we don't use YouTube is because of that 2 second lag that the Zoom gives us.
BS. That's BS.
That the Zoom gives us a much quicker response rate.
But the difference is like a second between the two of them. It's fine. That's BS.
Yeah, for the time that it takes for me to have to hit unmute and everybody's waiting for me, now we're 3-4 seconds later.
Who said that?
The city manager.
City manager, call me. Message us on Facebook. If you ever see this, message us on Facebook. Ask for Matthew. I'll show you how to do it. The lag does not matter. Turlock has been doing this for years. Like years at this point. There's no issue. There is no issue. Stop making excuses.
His exact word to me why they weren't using YouTube versus Zoom.
Well, YouTube and Zoom fulfill two different purposes.
Right, and they can work in conjunction.
Yes.
We could do it right now.
We could do it right now. We did it with
Cody Brown.
Yeah, Cody. I blanked on his name there.
Follow him, man. He did another deal yesterday.
I think I do, but I'm not on Facebook often enough to see that kind of stuff.
You know what? I gotta do. I'll probably do 2 proposed states next time.
Okay.
I want to get in I want to get in the state that includes Sacramento and El Dorado County.
That'd be nice.
Just because
that'd be good.
Just because we have a large listenership out of that area.
Yeah.
And then I want to touch on that Sonoma over there that includes that Sonoma, Marin, all that.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Cody come on here. Cody contributed to our show. And I got family over there.
Yeah.
This stuff is affecting them. So we'll probably do 2 coronavirus state proposed areas next time. But yeah, no. Mr. Westbrook doesn't like the delay on YouTube. And he said that multiple times to me. That's why we're with Zoom.
The people who are on YouTube are... Sorry. The people who are on YouTube are not watching for a live... Like that live of a response. Do they take comments off of the Zoom chat? I mean, no. I don't understand. Yeah, you have to raise your hand. You have to use your voice to speak up and say, "Hey, I'm so-and-so," and then say something, right? So the people on YouTube don't care.
Well, no, they know who you are. They call you by name,
right?
Because if you're, I guess it would be phone number like Turlock does. The phone number if you're not registered with Zoom,
right.
Why at this point anybody doesn't have their name and email registered with Zoom is beyond me. You're calling a public meeting. Don't call from your phone unless you're 80 years old, right? And you don't do computer. I get that, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be allowances for that, but most of us they're calling us by name.
Thank you, Roberta, for sharing our stream. Roberta Withrow shared our stream.
Too?
It doesn't say. I don't know if it was... I don't know if it was to their public page or what, but thank you for sharing our stream. We appreciate it very much.
Excellent. Any traction we can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Shirley Rogers said, sent me a personal message at 9:03. What do I do to listen now? Okay. Well, I hope she found it.
Facebook.com/Forgotten Liberty Radio.
Well, I'm sending her that now. But I wish I would have seen it earlier. I would have got to her right away. But
it's all good. At least your ringer was off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but if it wasn't, I would have seen this notification come through.
That's true. Yep. Well, anyhow,
she hasn't missed much Ceres stuff anyway, so if she jumps on right away, then we're all good, yeah. And she can always scroll back.
Well, or just download the podcast. Just skip around. I'm gonna throw in chapter markers for Ceres and that kind of stuff. If you don't really care about the COVID stuff at the beginning, you can skip ahead to Ceres. If we have a topic at the end, we'll be able to skip ahead of that. So,
yeah. Well, we're gonna have another segment.
Yeah,
because it's this is what's happening and this is how we can correct it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, anyhow, the IT departments at our cities are sorely lacking, but it's ridiculous that they say that they won't live stream.
We don't really have IT departments. We haven't really been hiring people for specific jobs like that for quite some time, and the council meetings in Ceres will go to prove that.
Okay.
They it's all who you know, what you know.
Yeah.
Not your skill set.
I think we contract out to Charter for all of our live streaming because it's actually on an actual cable channel, and then I think Charter is the one that also streams to the YouTube channel, and they manage all of the AV stuff at the council meetings, and that means that we tend to have a much higher quality of production, so to speak. But cool. I don't know at what cost. It's probably a lot.
Well, however, disseminating information to your constituents and providing for elections is the most important expense.
Posting a council meeting almost a week and a half later, is that right? It's been a week and a half.
1 week and 5 days.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Absolutely.
Well, I don't even understand how it can't be up 5 minutes after the council meeting's over.
Well, one of the reasons why it can't be is because they don't already live stream to YouTube. So let's just say, for sake of conversation, it's a 5-hour video. It's going to be a pretty big video file in their defense, so they have to upload it. But you click the upload button, and then you go home for the night, and in the morning it's uploaded. I don't understand that.
Even an hour rant from the seat of my truck driving down the highway is not live streamed. It's recorded, and then I upload it in a matter of minutes, and it's on YouTube. The same day I did it. So 12 days later is unacceptable.
Well, my guess is that they're much bigger and higher quality files.
It's not edited.
But it's not edited. They didn't do any post-processing. I mean, they shouldn't do any editing to it. So let's just say, for sake of conversation, what are council meetings? 3 hours?
They could run anywhere from 30 minutes to however long these morons want to argue about. Let's just say,
because I've seen a lot of council meetings lately from Turlock and from Ceres that are upwards of 3 hours. So 3 hours is probably.
But why?
Probably 30 gigs.
Because you got that. This side's going to nominate everybody. Everybody in every which way they got to do it to try to get something done. And these two morons over here are just going to be like, nope. Nope. I'm a cop, and I'm pissed, and you motherfuckers can't keep doing this. I don't want them other people. I'm a goddamn sheriff, and I don't have to have it anyway, but the way I want it. Linda, please stay with me on this. Linda, I can't handle it, because I'm a cop. It's got to be my way. No. And what you hear in the calmness is no. I nominate Mark White. I'll second that. Let's call the roll. Rhino. No. Silvera. No. And his brain's going, I'm a cop. I don't have to fucking do this. You gotta do what I want. I'm a sergeant. I'm in charge of stuff. That's what's happening in his brain.
Yeah.
You want the Fitbit numbers from that?
I bet it hit 104 again.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me how to properly put his heart rate up there so I can monitor it and you can see live. Just a little counter. John's heartbeat. Up in the corner over there. Over on that side. Next to John.
And when they say I make Alex Jones look docile and I'm louder than Crowder, you know why.
Oh, man.
Man,
I need to cut together I need to cut that together.
Well, that should be in it.
Yes.
I mean, that's probably about the best description of someone I've done. But you.
Oh man. Yeah.
But that's going through his mind.
Yeah. So.
Because he is a cop.
Right. Well, I don't know. So I don't know if you saw on my Instagram. Oh gosh.
He's a power hungry penis, dude.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram maybe a week and a half ago.
No.
I kind of. Is that how he sounds like?
That's how he sounds to me.
My wife and I had a discussion last night about police officers and the sheer amount of pride that goes into that profession. And on top of that mentality and that mindset of, I'm a cop, I am the law. And it's like, no, that's not actually accurate.
Listen, Judge Dredd. You ain't nothing.
Well, and he's a retired sheriff's deputy, right?
No, he's currently
Is he current?
serving.
Oh, okay. Somehow I thought he was retired. I don't know why. When he sits on that dais, He's a citizen of the city of Ceres. Nothing more.
No.
Nothing less.
Absolutely something more.
What?
He's sworn in 2 capacities to uphold our rights.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, as his occupation is concerned, I'm not going to sit up on the. If I were elected, I'm not going to sit up and then be like, "I'm a software engineer. You need to listen to me."
My point is, at all times, he's a protector and keeper of the people's R, as Bongino would say, God-given rights.
Well, that's another person I started listening to is Bongino. He's pretty good. I enjoy his shows. They're good. But yes, like I said, my wife and I had a kind of long discussion about it last night.
Here's the trouble. I'm showing you 2 individuals, okay? 2 individuals in current public sector, public service employment. One's a teacher, has no reading comprehension. Teaching our kids, we're supposed to respect the fact that she's teaching. This teacher is a special education high school teacher. We're supposed to give her the utmost respect because she's a public servant. She's a teacher. This woman is teaching the dumbest of the dumb at Ceres High, and she's dumb as they are. I don't give a what college you got a degree from. If you got no reading comprehension, your education is not worth the paper it's fucking printed on. And then you're going to teach our students that have learning disabilities how to read, how to comprehend what they read when you yourself can't even do that.
Yeah. Rudy says cops are not your friends.
Cops are nobody's friends. And then you got Brett Silvera up there. I just showed you what's going on in his mind. No, I'm not going to school to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm sorry I understand many fields and understand what's going on in the psyche of people. I'm sorry if you're not intelligent enough to do that in your own mind, to analyze people, to see what's happening. If you can't break down that your council, if you have a divided council, half of your council's under 50, the other half's over 50, and they can't come to an agreement on anything, it's time to stop electing people who came through when the principles that you despise were okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to go away. I'm not going to be quiet no more. I'm a native Californian. I'm a native to Stanislaus County. I'm a native to the Ceres community. My ancestors on the Albers line immigrated here to California before California was a state. So all this, I'm an 8th generation Californian and I'm this and that. For God's sake, there's a large portion of road here named after my father's family on his mother's side. You don't get roads named after you because you're not important to the community. My great-grandfather put the electric in the building of the Ceres High Science Wing when it was built. Now, it may not be the Science Wing now, but he had the contract to do the wiring there. We're not new to the area. And just because I haven't been involved for the past 20 years while I'm building my life doesn't mean that I don't have a voice. That people aren't doing things wrong. And then I'm discounted by clowns like Jeff Benzinger. You still got that tab?
Yeah, it's up.
So I'll calm down and I'll let you read that. Because now I have actually given a display for Jeff a second time because I did it with Mark Whitehead. And I've done it with Brett Silvera now. If he wants to see what he describes, Matthew will read you what he describes.
John Osgood, a truck driving resident of Ceres. Hold on, sorry, I'm like in a really bad spot to read this. Hold on. John Osgood, a truck driving resident of Ceres, needs to be a little more self-contained when participating in council meetings over Zoom. We couldn't see his face, but I visualized Osgood's face burning tomato red, and the vessels popping out on his neck during his rant, in which he blamed the council for his violating driving laws while messing with his device to participate in Zoom while driving a big rig. If Osgood planned to participate in a Zoom council meeting, why did he decide to drive a truck beforehand? Even if the meeting was opened up in person, he would still have had to decide to drive or not participate, which that sentence is a really terrible
Which
sentence.
I've already said I would alter my schedule to be at these meetings should the meetings be open. The truck would be parked. But you know what? I can legally have that going in the background.
Right.
And drive the truck. What I can't legally do is reach over to unmute the damn thing.
Right?
Because if I set it up, I can go on Zoom, Mr. Bezinger, a goddamn hour before the meeting starts, even a day before the meeting starts. If it's running in the background, it just says, what does it say, you newsman? You dumbass. You know how it works. It says, waiting for host to start meeting. And it'll say that for days before the meeting starts, if the meeting's scheduled.
Yeah.
So I can set it up when I'm parked in Oakland, unloading, and let it play for the hour until I get to Livermore or wherever I am going when the meeting starts. And I don't have to touch my device while I'm rolling down the road, you jackwagon. The problem comes in where now, after 3 meetings this year with Zoom, I have to now push unmute. There's a prompt that comes up that says stay muted or unmute. If Diane, the city clerk, says, Mr. Osgood, I'm going to unmute your microphone, it should just unmute.
So to be clear, in previous council meetings, you have not had this issue.
Correct. In the last 2 council meetings, I've
changed
had this
something
issue
recently to where that doesn't work anymore.
All right. And my software engineer says you should be able to swipe left or swipe right from the video screen and go into a mobile mode. It does not function
it still
on
requires
the series
you,
council meetings.
Yeah. It still requires you to tap a button, though, which, as you've stated before, is illegal. It is illegal across the board when you're driving any sort of anything on the road. You're not supposed to be using your device.
Right. And you know what the sheriff's deputy that sits up there that could hit his easy button, and the mayor could go, yes, council member Silvera. He could say, Mr. Osgood is 100% correct. We need to get that fixed. Could you please, from a law enforcement officer's perspective, fix that feature on Zoom? Or contact Zoom and have them fix the feature. What does he do?
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. He sits there and goes, I don't want to listen to this f***ing Osgood no more. I can't handle it. He said shit. Cut him off. Brett Silvera, you ever tell the city clerk to cut me off again, I'll come down there and punch you in the throat, bitch. Law enforcement officer or not, you don't got the right to silence me.
Yeah. No.
Mayor Lopez says, Mr. Osgood, please watch your language. When I use the word ass,
which is, if you notice, unbleeped on this episode.
No one in the United States bleeps ass.
Nope.
So it's not considered a swear or curse word.
Nope.
And
I don't even know if that gets you a PG-13 rating.
And in society, if you say it's commonplace for fecal matter.
Mm-hmm.
Today not even a curse word in my opinion. It could be one of those words the FCC won't let you be. But, okay, so one word, and he's like, cut him off.
Silveria said that?
Yeah. Kiss my ass, jackass. Cut him off. And here goes exactly to my, what I'm saying about the guy. Go ahead and wherever you were. Yeah.
Finish. I agree, Jeff says, I agree with Osgood that the public should not be barred from physically attending council meetings. Okay. But it's ludicrous for him to blame others where controlling his actions as a driver. That's not even what John was saying, but okay.
Okay, because he has no freaking listening comprehension. We know he can't even transcribe correctly.
Right. So he's already not paying attention.
We've pointed that out with YouTube videos that we play on this show versus what he's written. The fucking idiot can't even transcribe a meeting correctly, where he can hit a pause button, write down what he heard, hit a pause button, listen a little more, hit a pause button, write down what he heard.
Well, and I've done some minor transcribing before, where I wanted to write down an exact quote, and if it doesn't sound right, or you don't think the definition is right of what was said, you go back and listen again. You're like, man, that doesn't sound right. Mob up isn't quite right.
What do you have playing in the background?
What do I have playing in the background?
Yeah,
I have a
right
web transcriber.
There.
Yep. There's going to be, hopefully, don't hold me to this, I should have a full transcription of this episode available. We'll see if it works, because it's not 100% accurate, but I can always put a little disclaimer there.
Right.
But this is software. This is not even a person listening to it. And John, is it reading right?
No, every once in a while it makes a mistake.
Yeah, but it's enough that we can have a transcription available, right? I mean,
but if you were a newspaper man, and you went to a software program like this, it would jog your memory.
Yeah.
Where if it read mob up, that ain't right. The guy actually said mobbed up.
Yeah.
If I'm so irate that I have instilled this picture of a what? How does he describe me?
An irate truck driver?
No.
Or are you saying the
we'll keep going.
Burning tomato red and vessels popping?
Right. So if my speech made you assume that my face was burning tomato red with vessels popping, right? I've ingrained a picture in your head that you can't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the words that I use not as crisp in your mind? Yeah. Because you're not worried about telling the truth or being accurate. You're being a little bitch. You're mad because I call you on your shortcomings. Where do you get burning beet tomato red if you're not watching the videos where you can see when my voice elevates or when I put on an act, what happens? 209 Studio ain't got shit on me. Maybe your owner should hire me and Matthew to do a show for you, because we get the listenership. We get the viewership. We changing hearts and minds.
Rudy says it's called framing. That's absolutely right. He's pulling out what he wants to hear and what he wants to see out of meetings and whatever.
It's called bitch made. And you know what?
That too.
Before the law protected you, you got a bloody knuckle sandwich.
Yep.
You don't get to run around doing this shit, Jeff Bezziger, Mark Whitehead. Only because you've asked people who don't understand liberty and the spirit of the American way of life to protect you, because you're a closeted communist, or you don't understand what different recording devices sound like. I've had Bluetooth headsets on during those meetings. I've had the radio with the microphone all the way on the window of the semi truck. What was that? I told you what the times were on the YouTube clip, right?
And I did a
52 minutes or something on that. I don't remember.
I did a horrible job of queuing these. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was busy as shit. We didn't go over it last night.
Yeah, you were supposed to call me yesterday, but it's all good.
Well,
I'll see if I can get these queued up. You want to finish reading the article, or do you want me to finish reading the article?
No, go ahead and finish reading the article. I can't even see it. I don't even have it up.
Jeff says, in an alarming tone of voice, Osgood had suggested that the only reason that Rhino and Silvera went to appoint Smith was because she was, quote, some entrenched government agent. Huh? Question mark. An entrenched government agent? Smith is a Ceres resident who has gained experience in zoning and planning, which is a function of government in her 14 years of semi-volunteer service on the Planning Commission. She has exhibited professionalism and a command of knowledge at meetings while interjecting a folksy quip here and there. Because a folksy quip is very important to the city council meeting. Her, quote, day job, indeed, is working for the city of Modesto as director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhoods, so she is knowledgeable about parks and recreation.
Which she'd have to recuse herself because
I believe knowledgeable is spelled wrong, but what an asset she would be.
What? Not Jeff Benzinger.
Yeah, Mr. Benzinger, knowledgeable is spelled K-O-K, if I can even spell it right. Knowledgeable.
K-O's what he needs.
What an asset she would be. That makes her a perfect chance to fill in where Chance Condit bailed. Remind me, I don't think Chance Condit bailed.
No, sir. Chance Condit was elevated to board of supervisors.
Yeah. So that's a misnomer there. Knowing the council is forever stuck in a 2-2 quagmire in appointing its fifth member, Cooper Condon disingenuously suggested the council go back and glean more applications from the public. Why? When only 4 District 1 residents answered the call, what would happen with more applicants? Or are you to expect that Rhino and Silvera should abandon the best candidate from the first batch because 2 unreasonable council members come up with lame excuses?
And unreasonable is a personal opinion.
Unreasonable
from a
is a personal
communist.
Well, and the other thing is I do believe these council members represent their districts, so you're calling all of the people in both of those districts unreasonable, but we could just pass right over that.
Because it's only one council district and a mayor.
Okay. Well, you're at least calling one district unreasonable.
But the whole point, what I've been saying, that this asshat's never written, is that it's not the decision. I'm very clear. If you go back and you watch the last month and a half worth of council meetings where this appointment process is being considered, I'm very clear that Linda Rhino represents District 2. Linda Rhino's voice in an appointment process does not secure the adequate or proper representation of District 1. I'm very clear that Brett DeRosset, you can't do this to me. I'm a cop, and I don't have to accept what the residents of District 1 want or don't want. I don't have to give them an opportunity to voice their opinion because I'm a cop, and the only opinion that matters is mine because I got a badge. And I got a gun.
Rudy says all the article is a hit piece for you and a fluff piece for her. Yep.
It's an editorial, and he slams other people, but we don't need to go there.
Well, but, I mean, taking into account that he's not properly represented your point of view and continuously does so. That's that would be called a hit piece. Anyhow, moving on.
But Mr. Silvera represents District 3. He doesn't represent District 2.
Yeah.
And I've even said, Cooper,
My district representative represents District 4. He doesn't represent District 1. District 1 has no representation on the council at this time. And an appointment process directly violates the will of District 1. And in a state of 40 million people, why do we still have this archaic system of appointment where these council members argue over $30,000 to $40,000 for a special election that has
I have other questions about why it costs $30,000, $40,000, but that's beside the point here.
Because the people we're already paying are dividing out what we're already budgeted yearly for their job and then passing that cost to the city.
Yeah,
They're grabbing more tax dollar over to the county board of elections or, registrar of voters office out of the city general fund to replace what they supposedly spent out of their general fund to do what they're required to do by law. It's one big
ridiculous.
circle jerk Bernie Madoff Ponzi freaking scheme, and people like Lori Smith, where they start out on the planning commission, or they start out as city employees, progress into local government, and then progress into state government. This type of mentality is why we're where we're at financially and legally in this country, in this state, in our counties and cities.
Nepotism.
Yes, sir. This is the same tone I use on those council meetings where he says I'm burning tomato beet red. And he does it to jab at me, to make me look less intelligent than what you people know I am.
Well, and it's a misrepresentation on purpose because he doesn't support your viewpoint.
He doesn't support my viewpoint because he's a freaking communist.
Well, yeah.
He's a closeted liberal playing a conservative media person. And if he's not playing, he's a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Fake news. And Donald Trump didn't coin fake news. Thomas Jefferson did. So there have been dumbasses like Benzinger since day one. But Matthew can pull up the YouTube and tell you and play for you the two clips that I gave on February 22nd. We'd give you March 4th, but they ain't got that up yet.
Yeah, of course they don't. I don't know. I mean, as mentioned before, I don't understand why it's so hard. I'm trying to cue them up here, so give me a second.
Well, it's just ridiculous. And how do we fix it? We have to pressure our legislatures, our assembly people, and our senators to change the election code, the government code. Well, guess who's already approached people about that after Thursday's meeting? Friday morning, I was on the phone, leaving messages for Senator Anna Caballero. I have to call back to Assemblyman Gray's office, but I've spoke to Assemblymember Flora's office, and they will be receiving emails, possibly tonight, tomorrow morning, on the changes that need to happen. Period. Because we're allowing a county elections board to extort money from the city when they're already paid to do these elections. Nobody on the city council dais talks about that. We don't fund elections separately. We pay those people a salary to do a job year round. Is it going to cost there's a I don't know. Ceres is 49,000 people. Even if it's 50,000 people, that's still only 12,500 per district.
Yeah.
Okay? And how many of the people in the district are registered to vote? It's not all 12,500, right?
Right.
The average home is two parents and two kids 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now it's one parent, 2 to 3 kids, whatever. Or two adults and no kids. Mm-hmm. In older established neighborhoods. I'd actually say District 1 encompasses a lot of the area that was annexed, and there's a high percentage of Hispanics over there, where it's probably multiple kids and 1 to 2 parents. Mm. So what's the probability that there's 6,000 mailers that need to go out over there? And what's a stamp up to now? 50 cents?
Sure. Seems a little high, but yeah.
Well, okay, so it costs us even say it was $1 to mail a ballot.
Yeah.
They require you to put a stamp on it to send it back.
Right.
So they're not paying
So,
that fee.
Yeah.
So say it's $1 for to go one way. That's only $6,000 of special fee in this special election.
Yeah.
The time the city clerk has to do for candidacy statements is already covered in her yearly salary. Mm. Good God, I'll take the bolt of paper down there so that the city doesn't have to pay for the paper. And if they got an EcoTank printer, I'll provide the ink.
Yeah.
But even then, we're only looking at $100 maybe on the outside. If we buy the paper by the sheet from Kinko's and we buy the ink by the drop from Amazon. And we know that stuff doesn't happen. So there's $20 worth of supplies to print the applications. The city clerk already sitting in that office getting paid to collect and organize. The county board of elections are already getting paid to count ballots.
Yeah.
So the only thing they're doing is printing them out and sending them. So we know there's $6,000 worth of postage on the outside.
Mm. Okay.
Okay? They're already being paid to do this. What is there? Another $1,000 to print 6,000 ballots? I mean,
yeah,
I got boxes of petitions. Boxes of petitions, and I guarantee you that Sharon Durst and Americans Restoring Representation didn't pay no $1,000 to print 17,000 petitions that were like a 6-page multi-leaflet thing. Mm. Front and back. You have a ballot that's just one box, probably with 4 names, and on the outside it's going to cost $10,000. But no one on that council talks about these things. Because, well, the estimate is 30 to 40. Let's challenge the 30 to 40. That's your job. That's what you're up there for, is to challenge the 30 to 40. But even if it is 30 to 40, the number one reason we have established government is to provide for our adequate representation in a self-governance situation. Not to protect you from someone else and hire a police department. Not to protect you from fire, to keep your house safe from your shortcomings. Because if your electrical or your candles or your fireplace aren't being used properly, aren't being maintained properly, your shit's going to burn down. I mean, in 2021, we understand that electrical shorts and things cause fires. If you are not proactive as an owner or a renter to keep your stuff or to keep your owner informed that there's something that needs to be taken care of before a fire happens, well, I'm sorry about that. You deserve to have your shit burnt down. But the number one job before we go into those things, before we go into providing for a position for Lori Smith even to exist and have parks, is to provide for our adequate representation. What is that worth?
I mean, that's literally their only job. So
I've been saying this. I've been saying this from day one, and no one gets it. Well, they get it. Rhino and Silvera get that if we do this, District 1 gets its voice heard. And that may not necessarily be the person that they want. Remember,
I'm going on 80 years old, and I work for the city. And Lori Smith is my friend. Lori Smith is my union compadre. Lori
Did
Smith.
you actually say that?
no.
Okay, I was gonna say.
See, I'm in their minds. I'm in their
But
heads.
no,
right?
I'm sure that's the case. I was just curious. I don't watch the city council meetings.
No,
so I
they
don't
just
always,
say she's the most qualified candidate.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
But in their head,
Because if they said that, they would have to recuse themselves from a vote.
correct. They don't have to say it for me to say they need to recuse themselves. Brett Silvera served 4 months on the Ceres Planning Commission with Lori Smith. That relationship should be an automatic, I need to recuse myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's fine if they had that
If he
relationship,
does
but that should be a disclosed relationship. Hey, I served a few years. I don't feel comfortable. I think they're qualified. I'm out.
It is absolutely a conflict of interest. Prior to him being city council member, he served on the board, the planning commission board with Lori Smith. Lori Smith was his chairperson while he was on that board. His vote for her is a conflict of interest. I call him on this often.
What does he have to say about it? Nothing?
He just stays silent. But in his mind, he's thinking,
I'm a cop. I'm a sergeant with the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office, and I shouldn't have to hear Mr. Osgood chastise me over and over. Oh boy, I wish I could catch him not using a turn signal or something. I'd pull him over. I'm gonna write that a fat ticket.
Yeah.
that's
I'm
going
sure.
through
I'm sure.
his head.
I'm sure. And because kind of what I had mentioned earlier, the amount of pride that it takes to do that job is astronomical. And they kind of what we talked about a few weeks ago. CHP officer feels that they have the right to run a red light, not going anywhere. They just run it because they are the law. And that's unacceptable. That's not okay with me. And any and all law enforcement officers who are breaking laws, even when on the clock, it's ridiculous.
The word was ass and the word was shit, and he said, turn him off. He's not the presiding
That wasn't the problem.
member.
That wasn't the problem.
He's not the presiding member of that board. He doesn't have the authority to say
Right,
turn him
right.
off.
Right.
And while
The mayor
they keep saying that Javier Lopez is disrespectful to Linda Rhino.
Really?
Number one, should no one have any respect for Linda Rhino as an elderly woman? She's an equal on that panel. And there's no reason for me as a constituent, as a voter in Ceres, a homeowner, an adult over 21, her equal, to show her any respect in her government capacity. And the concept of respect is very much been confused in this nation.
Yeah, we were like I said, my wife and I were just talking about this.
She is my insubordinate subordinate. And as a matter of fact, when Javier Lopez sits as mayor of that dice, Linda Rhino is his subordinate. He is the presiding member of that council. She's his bitch. And they're all four our bitches. And I don't have to get this way with Cooper because Cooper gets it. Because the Condit family has always gotten it. That we're equals. The Condits are a little too nice. If those two, Silvera and Rhino, think that my public comments over the phone are rough, God help them if I'm ever elected to a city council position and they're sitting on the dais. Because for everyone to see on video, on YouTube, Facebook, Zoom, wherever the council meetings are disseminated, in public when they come, if you can't handle me over the phone, you can't handle me in person. Because I would not sit there quietly and say, neither one of you has declared a conflict of interest? Get the fuck out of here. Man, I spell it out. Play 2 weeks ago's clip.
Else?
Yes, Mayor. Next person is John Osgood. Mr. Osgood, I'll unmute your mic.
Mr. Osgood, welcome.
Okay, so just so you all know, somehow reason the last two meetings, Zoom has asked a guy driving a semi-truck to unmute himself. The 3 meetings ago, I didn't have to do that. So if we could address that moving forward, that would be like major helpful for those of us that shouldn't be touching our cellular devices while we're driving. Secondly, we have an agenda.
So we kind of addressed that with Benzinger, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Am I beat red, tomato faced? Can you hear I'm not beat red, tomato faced?
Yeah. No.
Can
And
you
if folks would like to hear or see that, just go back about 3 minutes. That's actually John being tomato faced red. I don't.
Well, but it's still an act too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know it is, but I mean,
And when we do these things, we know from watching TV that actors can turn that on and turn that off as well, and it's just an act. It's intended to elicit a certain mental picture in your head,
right,
that you remember. Okay, so I'm not irate, am I? And I want everyone to notice in this clip that the audio is pretty clear, right?
Yeah, it seems pretty clear to me.
So at this time, my headset, manufactured by Blue Parrot, that has a boom microphone.
You got a parrot mic. Cool.
That has a microphone.
Fancy.
That swings around in front here. You know,
it's
like
boom mic.
most truckers use, right? Because of the sound canceling qualities and the clarity.
Yep.
Is currently has power, and I'm using that in this portion of the council meeting. So go ahead and continue playing that.
Agenda item for a closed session to deal with some labor issues with the Ceres peace officers, and I would counsel those that are public employees, retired public employees, or peace officers in the state of California, to look up the definition of a conflict of interest and recuse themselves from those meetings where labor negotiations with unions are taking place.
Okay, pause it again. Brett Silvera made no conflict of interest declaration prior to.
I'm sure he didn't, yeah.
Prior to or posthumous of my comment. Linda Rhino made no conflict of declaration interest prior to or posthumously my comment. Go ahead.
Lastly, everybody pretty much knows that I want these meetings open to public attendance. While I am currently driving a semi-truck, I will alter my schedule as a business owner to attend should that happen.
Again, a business owner, right?
Business owner, and it was really clear in that you said, I'll alter my schedule if it's open in person. the implication would be, I'm going to still drive if I can attend these meetings virtually.
Right. But while I'm attending those meetings virtually, they need to do the software engineering that they need to do to correct the issues that cause me to violate existing state law.
Right.
Why does Jeff Benzinger, editor of the Ceres Courier, and a 50-some-year-old man not understand that?
Beats me.
Because not only does he have an issue with spelling, he has an issue with understanding what he hears, which is what?
Comprehension.
Thank
Listening
you.
comprehension.
Continue.
2 weeks from now, city staff is supposed to come forward with recommendations to safely open. I like how everybody, whenever they talk about anything, sneaks the word pandemic in. I just want to drop some numbers on you provided to me by the Stanislaus County Health Services Agency's dashboard. Stanislaus County, we know, has 550,660 people. We've had 49,266 coronavirus cases, 910 deaths. Our cases are 8.97% of county population. The deaths are 1.847% of those almost 9%. For a 0.165% death rate from this pandemic. Not discounting the loss of life, but we should not be further tyrannized when we're not taking into account March last year to date numbers. I spoke with Chance Condit's office at the district supervisor. Ceres alone, 5,102 cases, with a population of 48,706 estimated in 2019, and not having 2020 census numbers. That's what we'll go off of. 10.5% of Ceres has tested positive. Of that 10.5%, 1.3132% have perished from coronavirus. Not a huge number, people. And of the 5,102, that's the percentage that we've lost. As far as to our population, 0.1375 total. So we're trending under the county, and the county is trending at 0.165% of total population, within the average of the state of California. I understand people are getting sick. I know you guys are going to review this all individually as the 4 members of the council. But I just really like you to keep in consideration, these are 1 year later, total figures, total percentages. Remedial math can get us to these percentages, and we can open safely. With that being said, please consider what I said about conflict of interest. We do not, I think, as a majority of the council, understand exactly what conflict of interest is. And while you think you don't work for the Ceres Police Department, or you're retired and that doesn't have an effect, we know as a citizenry that the labor negotiations from one union lead to negotiation tactics with another, and that in itself is a conflict of interest. Everyone have a good evening, and I thank you for your time.
Would you disagree with that?
No, I mean, I think
conflict of interest.
Yeah, I personally would have to know a little more about specifically what you said, but I guarantee that the people sitting on the council will know exactly what you said.
They have an agenda item for a closed session meeting that night.
Yep.
To talk to the labor negotiator from the Ceres Police Officers Association.
Which, what you said was basically the labor negotiators crossover between other public sector unions, right? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that the labor negotiators themselves. But
the individuals.
When one labor union's able to pressure the council into a higher pay or better benefits package for their union members.
Okay.
Now
you use it as a leverage point.
Other unions say, well, you gave the police more money, so us as the fire employees.
Well, that's even worse because he's a police officer negotiating.
He's a sheriff's deputy.
The police officer.
And then the Sheriff's Deputies
yep.
Association goes to our county board of supervisors and says, well, Modesto, Ceres, Turlock, Patterson, Newman, their wages are this. Those councils have accepted an increase in their wages.
Yep.
Therefore, you should give us an increase in our wages. Now, if Brett Silvera is deciding Ceres wages, it absolutely has a correlation to county wages, or is absolutely used in the negotiation with the county based on, the negotiator goes, well, Ceres, Modesto, Turlock, Patterson, Newman have given their peace officers raises, and to stay economically viable within the community to attract officers, we need to increase the rate of pay for our officers. Then the county board of supervisors goes, yes, that makes sense. And what? Brett Silvera has been part of the process that increased his wage as a deputy or his wage as a retired deputy, because those negotiations have to do with retired employees as well. So it's a conflict of interest, and they don't understand it. Do you have the other clip queued up yet?
Yeah, I'm queuing it right now. Just a second. All right. Play it.
Yes.
If there's anybody on Zoom that would like to speak, that would be great.
Yes, Mayor. First person with their hand raised is Mr. Osgood. Mr. Osgood, I will unmute your mic.
4 people. The
Mr.
first
Osgood.
person.
Welcome.
There we are, hitting that button again at 55 miles an hour in an 80,000-pound vehicle. Please fix that.
Now,
Please.
Can you hear a little different audio quality?
Yeah, it's a totally different mic, and I think even your average general person would understand that that's a different audio system.
And we have to be cognizant of the fact that I'm using a Bluetooth device through a mobile phone.
Yep.
And I'm not calling into Zoom like a phone conversation.
Right.
This is all voice over internet protocol. Is that the right terminology for how I'm?
That is the correct.
When I use the Zoom app, I'm using an internet-based app to access the meeting. So my voice is converted in a slightly different manner than a telephone conversation that, say, like other commenters where they sound clearer would be.
Right. Well, and you're also on cellular data, too, so Zoom is going to restrict the bit rate of audio that goes through your cellular device compared to me. We're sitting right here. If I joined, I'm hardwired into the internet. That's a totally different thing. Zoom's not going to be Zoom's going to be a little more data hungry. It's going to be a little more clearer on the other end, and it's going to be a little clearer for me to hear it as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Shouldn't be attending these meetings on Zoom anyways, and that's the only way I can participate. Causes me to violate state law, Deputy Silvera. Open my meetings. Here's the deal. This is a mobbed up ass council.
Pause it.
And yes, that.
So in previous show last week, we showed where he spelled it M-O-B, right?
I don't even understand how he got that wrong. Hold on.
This is a mobbed up ass council.
What?
And yes, that word.
I feel like that's really, really clear.
State law, Deputy Silvera. Open my meetings. Here's the deal. This is a mobbed up ass council.
It's not like you blurred your words together. It's not like you made this sentence where you were really fast. That was really clear.
How do you, as a legitimate news?
How do you misspell knowledgeable? There's spell check, Mr. Benzinger.
The proof is disseminated truthfully and accurately
to those who are knowledgeable
from Forgotten Liberty Radio, but not necessarily from the Ceres Courier.
Or other media outlets.
So, but now you know why I introduced myself on Thursday as host of Forgotten Liberty Radio. That makes me the news.
Yeah. Yep.
And yes, that word is precise. We have a public employee and a public retired employee holding us hostage, tyrannizing our city because they feel another public employee, an entrenched government agent, should be our city.
If you work for the city of Modesto, are you a government agent?
Yeah, by definition, because government means government and agent would mean agent. Sorry, so, the definition, I don't think I even need to give a definition for both of us. I'm not even going to Google that. That's like really clear.
So
we're not talking Secret Service or FBI or CIA. That's not even, no. It's really clear in the context of the city council meeting saying that somebody is a government agent means that they work for the government. They're an officer of the government. Their salaries paid. Their benefits are paid by the government.
Okay. Now, take into consideration also that that's her 9 to 5, parks, recreation, and neighborhoods, right? Her 5 to 9 is chairperson of the Ceres Planning Commission.
Yeah.
Is the chairperson of the Ceres Planning Commission a government agent?
Yeah. I would assume so. Well, okay, not in the same way. Not in the same
advisory capacity. She's appointed as a representative of the city, of the constituents of the city, to advise the council.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a government position.
It is.
It should be an elected position, not an appointed position.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are 5 members of the Ceres Planning Commission.
Well, and as we
the Ceres Planning Commission is heavy District 1. If there are 5 members, the intent is 1 member for each council district.
Yeah.
Or prior to council districts, hear me out, 1 member for each at-large seat.
Okay.
And 1 at-large member.
Okay. Yeah.
So why are we not electing those at the same time we elect a city council person?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And why do we even have a planning commission that advises the city council that's going to make the same decision that the council made?
Well, and why do you have a planning commission that's heavy in District 1? I personally need to go look up our planning commission here in Turlock and see what that makeup is. I don't know what it is. I would hope that the council would make smart decisions as far as appointing people from each individual district, but that problem would all go away if it was an elected position.
Okay, but we've shown that her main job is a government agent.
Yep.
And her part-time job, because they are paid, there's an $80 per meeting stipend.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So her full-time and her part-time job are both government related, and she's an officer in those capacities. So what did Jeff Benzinger say? Entrenched government agent.
Yep.
Huh? He questioned that.
I don't.
Is he a fucking retard?
Maybe he's unclear about what entrenched means. Because government and agent both seem very clear, especially given the context of the city council meeting.
Unlike Donald Trump, I actually do this on our show. This is the double chest slap. I'm a retard portion of the show. Jeff Benzinger has won that award again this week. The double chest slap.
I need a little graphic for that. It just pops up.
I'm a retard award. Why do you question?
I have a bell for
that. Why do you question entrenched government agent as a news person? As the editor of a paper, you should understand the words entrenched, government, and agent and how they would tie together and what the meaning of that would be, and be able to say she absolutely, in every capacity, she serves as an officer of the government.
Right. And I don't know why
So as an officer of Recovery Solutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm filling out documents, at the bottom of the document, it says agent for service or process.
Oh, okay.
The agent for service or process.
is someone legally responsible for the company.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's an officer of the corporation.
Yeah. Right.
So when you say agent, and officer are synonymous.
Yeah.
When you say government, it means the board overseeing society or our communal agreements, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's entrenched mean? I mean, this is very difficult. I don't understand why it's so difficult to understand that phrase.
To place within or surround with a trench, especially for defense. To place oneself in a strong defensive position, or to establish solidly. That last one would be Miss Lori Smith.
The proper use of the word entrenched.
Oh, to be clear, because people are a pain, that is the definition of entrench. So entrenched would be...
Entrenched would be that she already has solidified herself in a position.
It's a past.
And
past transitive verb.
And if anybody has a problem with that, they're a double chest slap, ding ding moron too.
Well, I don't know if Mr. Benzinger is watching. I want to be very clear to make sure that he understands everything that we're talking about, because
he's got a thesaurus in a Webster's dictionary.
Apparently not. Doesn't know how to spell knowledgeable.
Right.
But
I'm sure he did that on a Windows based application. On his
okay,
PC.
so talking about spell
So
check, look, there is no excuse for the last 5, even 7 years, let's say, to have the to spell words wrong. There is absolutely no excuse. My dad's a college professor. He sees spell check mistakes all the time. They submit him Word documents. Word has a built-in spell checker. It does a little squiggly red underline
or blue
when you have
on
or
what the
blue
grammatical
right
error is.
And it'll even give you suggestions as far as like, hey, this grammatical syntax isn't right, maybe you want to check that. There's absolutely no excuse unless you typed that on your phone, and even on your phone
Apple
most
has
apps
spell
just
check.
has spell check. I mean, okay, look, if the word is totally off,
dude,
that's autocorrect, maybe, right maybe that's autocorrect. This is just spelled wrong. I don't understand it.
I write the letters F-U-C-K-E-D on my phone.
Yep.
In text messages frequently.
Yep.
So frequently that it no longer puts the suggestion of D-U-C-K-E-D to me. Okay?
So you're not saying ducked up shirt?
Right.
Ducked up piece of shirt? Yes.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. Go ahead and continue, because I'm going to get beat red here in a minute.
City council person in our city because they feel another public employee, an entrenched government agent, should be our city council person. Man, we fought a king over this kind of behavior. You two should be ashamed of yourselves. Ashamed. What's the problem with putting 2 or 3 names down and taking the person that got the most? The problem is that ain't how we do things in this country, Cooper.
So
what we can all agree to, and it's quite clear, it's been quite clear for over a month. Special election, someone make the motion, everybody vote unanimous and move on. If you're going to stick on the edge of this cliff where you're showing us all as taxpayers and residents of this city that you don't give 2 shits about us because we're not public employees, then you're
Mr. Osgood,
out of line.
please refrain from cussing, please.
But you heard the deputy say cut him off.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention for that.
Okay, go back.
I'm gonna go back.
We're going to stick on the edge of this cliff where you're showing us all as taxpayers and residents of this city that you don't give two shits about us because we're not public employees.
Oh yeah, there you go. Got it.
You're
Mr. Osgood,
you're out
please
of line.
refrain from cussing. Thank you very much, Mr.
We
Osgood.
need people that are going to take into consideration what's best for the city, not best for the unions. No conflict of interest declarations ever take place. We have a closed session item. I discussed that. This very nomination process has turned into a conflict of interest. Everyone that's employed or paid through a retirement system that's publicly funded should be ashamed. And the two of you know who you are. We shouldn't have to get this passionate. And whatever words you may not like, they're words that even 5-year-olds are using. Move to a special election. Let's be done looking like the idiots of the county. This is ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. Osgood.
At the end, is that the end of the comment?
Yeah, that's it. But you clearly hear my
Cut him
insubordinate
off.
subordinates say, cut him off.
That's very different from the mayor who's like, hey, please, just more of a. He didn't say stop talking, Mr. Osgood.
Number one, that's a bitch ass deputy move right there. You're done talking, and I'm in charge.
Yep.
You ain't in charge, mother. I'm in charge.
Especially at a council meeting. Out of all places, he wants to cut off the public from talking in a public comment section of the council meeting.
That proves that Brett Silvera is not qualified to be a representative of the people.
Yeah. That's
we need to stop.
That's recall worthy right there.
We need to. Oh, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. Publicly, to all the people on Angela DeRossett's Facebook and to Angela DeRossett. If anyone in Ceres attempts to recall Cooper Condit or Javier Lopez, there will be an immediate. The papers have already been printed and filled out. They are on my desk in a file that says Doomsday. I will burn the fucking city down. I'm going to move for an immediate recall of Linda Rhino and Brett Silvera.
Yeah.
You know how I'm going to get Rhino? I'm going to go door to door and compare her to Nancy Pelosi. You're done, bitch.
Do it.
Change your ways or you're done, bitch.
I got to step out for a second.
Do what you got to do.
I'll be right back.
Brett Silvera. Oh, did you turn my camera off? It died.
I didn't mean to turn your camera off. I think did the batteries die? Did it say batteries off?
I don't know. Either way, whatever. Spin the other one around on its mount up there.
Yeah, I'll do that. Hold on.
Brett Silvera.
Right in the middle. Hold on.
I will elicit the help of known organizations that despise the very existence of police officers. And I will remove you from office with the assistance of Black Lives Matter. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. If you two jamokes don't think that I can make that happen, if the people staunchly encamped on this Cooper and Javier are holding our city hostage viewpoint, don't think that it's a real possibility that the other 50% of us see it the other way. And I'd go as far as to say probably the other 75% of us can see that it's an us versus them and an aristocracy, a police officer and a city employee holding the process and not being willing to budge or change
their point of view. I think you're all sadly mistaken. Kind of like the recall of Gavin Newsom thing. I don't think you got the numbers. But the more I talk publicly, the more I dwell on this issue of this is the behavior of these two individuals, the more people are coming and commenting to me personally and private messages that they agree with me. People agree with me that are scared to come forward publicly and say they agree with me because they don't want to destroy lifelong, meaningful, personal relationships, because that's what we do in politics. We alienate people because they have a different view than us. And that's pretty much what's taken place. We have a small group that thinks they hold the keys to power. In November's election in the city of Ceres should show them that while you may be able to garner the requisite number of signatures to start a $30,000 to $40,000 recall campaign because you think the appointment process should have happened, you don't have the votes to overturn District 4's election. But I'm pretty sure we got the votes to overturn Deputy Silvera's election. I'm pretty sure that we move up District 2 before November of 2024. So it's like getting a corona test. Throw them bones out in back of the alley and let's take your chances. The paperwork is printed. It's ready to go. The moment there's a recall against Cooper or Javier Lopez, both go into be filed. With this guy some more. Because your vision of government is not the government that we are entitled to. So I kind of teased I was going to be sending emails to assembly members, to senators. And I think it's time we change state law. That when a vacancy occurs because of one of these movements of an elected official, such in the case of Chance Condit in Ceres, where he was propelled to the Board of Supervisors. And I'll share the one-page proposal next week on this program. I just didn't have time to type it up and get it to Matthew, trying to repair brakes on my trailer to make it safe for the motoring public. My proposal is this. When a currently serving official files candidacy papers for another position, state election law would then require an automatic triggering of a second part in the general election that candidacy is in. So that when Chance Condit filed candidacy papers for Stanislaus County District 5 Board of Supervisors, it would automatically trigger the city clerk in Ceres to issue the call for candidates from District 1. The question on the ballot and the knowledge provided to the candidates for the potential open seat of District 1 would be, should Chance Condit be elected to X office, Board of Supervisors, whom should fill his spot for a 4-year term to the Ceres City Council. A, B, C, or D. At the November 3rd election, had that been the case, the residents would have had a choice from District 1 at a much lower expense, an expense that's irrelevant because it would have been absorbed by the general election, saving the city, saving the county, and statewide this would save billions of dollars in election costs. And what would it do? It would ensure the proper and adequate representation of that district. And why do you move it out the full term? Because if successful, Chance is foregoing his term, which began on January 5th and ended on January 5th. Or closely thereabouts. These swearing in of the council was actually 2 weeks or so before swearing in of the Board of Supervisors. But there would be no 2 months now term where there was zero representation for District 1. Where we remove the ability of our city councils to appoint through a nepotistic process. And we make it a matter of state law that this is an automatic occurrence. Now, I understand there's campaign fees, and there's going to be people that say, we're going to spend $20,000 to win a seat that makes us no money. Well, you're going to spend that anyways, because now there is a general or a special election. It's your gamble as a candidate, knowing that this is the purpose is to choose a representative should Chance have been successful. If Chance hadn't been successful in this proposed legislation that I'm going to write to change the election code, Chance would have then retained his last 2 years for that seat. Jeff Benzinger hasn't mentioned that this is a possibility in his editorials. We've not read that from the Modesto Bee, from the Ceres Courier, from the Turlock Journal, from anyone. When I introduce myself as host of Forgotten Liberty Radio and call myself a newsman or a member of the media, that's exactly what's going on here. This is an editorial portion of our show. I'm taking this based on the experiences that I see the past 2 months in my city to state representatives to correct the issue. To take it out of hands of people whom don't represent that given district or that given body and place it in the hands of you, the people. I clearly say in March 4th meeting, which we won't have until March 18th because Tom and Diane can't get it on the damn internet before then. Should the residents of District 1 elect Lori Smith in the special election? While I believe it's unwise, it's their choice. And it should be their choice. Not the handful that call in for her. Should the district represent Connie Vasquez? That's their choice. Not the handful of people that call in or submit emails for her, but an actual accounting of all the voices that show up on the date of the special election. As a District 4 constituent, I'm standing up for Lee Brandt, for Lee's spouse, for all of those of you in District 1 that want Lori Smith. And I'm standing up for your opponent's district residents as well. And I've been saying since day one, it's not Linda Rhino's decision. It's not Brett Silver's decision. It's not Cooper Condit's decision. And it's not the mayor's decision. Now the mayor has a stronger voice than any of the other three because he's a District 1 constituent. But I have no say in who their representative is other than it's my duty to uphold their right to decide. And it's my duty to pressure the council to afford you that right to decide. Now, as of Friday at 5 p.m., March 5th, a special election has to be called. We're told that special election won't be held until August 31st.
What?
March, April, May, June, July, August.
That's ridiculous.
6 months out.
That's ridiculous.
If our council would have moved on, called a special meeting for the 5th of January, the day that Chance vacated his seat, the election and the placement of the replacement would have taken place no later than June.
Why August?
But we still...
Did they even give a...
No, because state law requires everything to happen in time frames, right? You have so many days to file candidacy, then they have to print send and vote and da-da-da-da-da.
I guess it makes some sense. But
so the city has to call a special meeting. They have to ask the Board of Supervisors to ask the Board of Elections to da-da-da-da-da-da. All these processes that my proposed legislation going to actual state legislators that will automatically trigger mandated requirements to save us all a bunch of money. To save us the possibility of not having adequate representation. And what do we know? What am I all about? Restoring representation. So they think John's just pissed off and trying to push his will, and I'm actually trying to make sure that your voice is heard. Everything I approach these guys with is all about representation. Linda Rhino doesn't represent her district. Linda Rhino is an abstention of giving her district constituent a contract increase that's equal to that of the other businesses like his. Brett Silver doesn't represent his district.
Nope.
Brett Silver is up there saying that this appointment process is legitimate. And Cooper's just trying to be too nice because he's a young man from an honorable family with a large amount of integrity, and he doesn't want to disrespect people that he considers to be his elders, that he's been taught from his very religious family to respect everyone. As a member of the council, they are equal to him, and there's no respect implied or necessary as an equal. Absolutely okay to raise your voice or vocally chastise an equal.
Yep.
We've wasted 2.5 months in Ceres, according to Jeff Benzinger, according to a large portion of people on Facebook. And they forget that these four have been able to agree on some things. And even if they have a 3-2 split going forward after the special election, even if there's a 2-2 split going forward until the special election. It's not dysfunctional. It's not supposed to be easy to change government. It's not supposed to be cookie cutter. Yes, 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 yes. Spend our money, spend our money, spend our money, spend our money, spend our money. Your council members are there to challenge the budgets, to challenge the validity of all things before them. To say, is it okay to tax Matthew another $5 a decade to change the sewer lift station pumps? Well, if we don't do that, then human fecal matter backs up into Matthew's neighborhood, causing Matthew to become ill. Okay, so that's a legitimate use once we've already decided that we're going to municipalize wastewater treatment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But they should be challenging each other. They should be questioning each other. It shouldn't be a docile meeting.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a, yes, I totally agree with you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, you're quite welcome, Miss Rhino.
Well, look where that's gotten us. No decision.
What did I say? What did I say? I said we fought a king over this same crap.
Yep. Well, in Turlock, because nobody's willing to raise their voice in their hand, we were on the verge of bankruptcy.
Oh. Our cities are bankrupt, our states are bankrupt, and our nation's bankrupt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people aren't willing to stand up and say no.
Well, because if they say no, they're marked as holding up the process.
I haven't really talked too much about it, but I left my company in January of this year. One of the issues, and John, you can see it right here on my whiteboard. Third item down says there's too many yes men in this company.
Yeah.
If everybody says yes and doesn't challenge, and I'm not saying be disrespectful. I'm saying, hey, I really don't think this is acceptable. I think this needs to be changed. We need to find a way to do it. I told my CTO of my company that there were too many yes men inside our organization. That's one of the biggest reasons, third on my list, of why I left my company. And it's a very dysfunctional organization in ways that it shouldn't be.
Well, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
I don't have to worry about it anymore because I don't have any yes men on my team anymore. I'm not a part of that company. Mm-hmm. But it's a huge issue, and I can see it at a smaller level inside my company. When people don't say no, it causes massive issues.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. It has a direct correlation to their stock price. It has a direct correlation to the quality of the software that they put out. It has a direct correlation to the willingness of people to stay. There are too many yes men in government.
Here's the bottom line. I could sell my home and purchase a property in another jurisdiction.
Sure.
And still continue to service the exact same customers I have.
Yeah.
With the same income and the same expenses that I currently have.
Sure, I'm sure you could.
My lifestyle wouldn't change if I moved from Ceres to Turlock, or from Ceres to, Modesto or Oakdale or Escalon or da-da-da-da-da, because I'm accustomed to needing certain things in certain facilities, right? Here, I don't have to remain in Ceres, and I don't have to continue to fight for the people of Ceres, the people of California, or the people of the United States. I do it because it's the right thing to do. And what happened? What happened in this 2-month process of trying to appoint someone to the council? It ended up going to election anyways.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
have two that won't budge, and we have two that recognize the things I'm saying. That Lori Smith's behavior as an employee of Modesto,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that she makes decisions for parks, recreation, and neighborhoods that violate those parks, neighborhoods, and produce an unsafe area to recreate, or that understand the points that I make, where we have brought in housing, we have brought in annexed areas, we have brought in retail, but we don't have the jobs to sustain Ceres. Two of them see these faults in Lori Smith, and two of them think she hung the moon.
Shirley says the council doesn't like to be questioned, and most citizens don't attend the meetings
Shirley's commenting.
or care to know what goes on. Oops, I meant to publish that to our... Hold on.
Shirley comes
Shirley
to
Rogers.
comes to us through Facebook conversations
There we go.
on this issue, because she has a differing view of those that want this same entrenched government that we've always had.
Mm.
There's only two people that don't want to budge, and there's only two people that don't want to listen. And they're both the people violating you on a daily basis. And this holds true for every jurisdiction. Hell, how many times did I point out that Kirsten Olsen wouldn't return an email from a male member of the community?
Mm.
It's that same type of I'm not responsible to you. As the chairwoman of the Board of Supervisors, she absolutely had a duty to respond to me.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't. She would only respond to women.
Mm.
Jim DeMartini responded. Chance Condit's office, Drew Russell, responds right away. Vito's office responded. Vito sent me a message personally. Not even my representative on the county responded right away. Tom Berryhill never responded. Terry Withrow never responded. Lori Smith won't ever respond. Brett Silvera never responds. Linda Rhino never responds. Cooper responds. Javier Lopez responds. It's an us versus them. Some of them are us's and the others are them. Them is government. Them is entitlement mentality. Them is superiority complex. Aristocrats. Aristocracy. Royalty. Time and time again, I've said, on my mother's side, her people came to the Massachusetts Bay Area on the Mayflower. My last name is Osgood. The Osgoods also came to Massachusetts Bay in the 1600s. My people are the founders of getting away from government and restarting something that works for us. Prior to that, the Osgoods are noblemen in England, and what before comes from the Norse or the conquerors of England in the northern European area, that starts this foundation of representation and of big R God-given rights.
Mm-hmm.
My father's side, also with the Osgoods, comes to California in 18
1848, before the gold rush. That's why we call them 49ers, because they came in 1849. My people were already here in the Calaveras County area. The Albers were already here. So not only am I a foundational Californian, I'm a foundational Union member. My people form the state, form the nation. And we did fight a king over this stuff. And we did produce a system for you. And I've talked about divine intervention and divine providence many times on this show. And isn't it funny how the supreme being is utilizing members of the same family to try to reestablish these ideals and principles? Do you think it's a mistake that I have a passion to correct government?
Nope. Not at all.
When you look at my name, Osgood, the entomology, or I don't even know how to pronounce that word. I'm so frustrated. But it comes from as God. If you look at German, anything that was good is of God. An old German man told me that. The reason it's good is because it's good. It's God. And through me, God is trying to correct the abuses we face in Ceres.
I dropped an Ancestry.com link to Osgood.
Well, and that's only as accurate as they want it to be.
Right, exactly. And it's not going to be 100% accurate. But there's at least some back history there.
But you got to help me help you. And getting involved makes a difference. I show time and time again how it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look, you'll hear these guys say, Lee Brandt says, Mr. Osgood needs to pull over. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. But I agree with him. We need to open our meetings.
Yeah.
We need to do these things. Before I started saying these things, Mr. Brandt would have never said, we need to do that. My jaw hurts. I'm about done talking for 2.5 hours today.
You didn't have Justin to give your jaw a break.
Well, I mean, Justin's got to do what he's got to do
No.
to
Not
support his company. And really?
Make the monies.
And what's he going to do? He's going to sit there. He's going to tell me he's going to do something, but he's going to be like 99% of people in Ceres. They're not going to do something. They're not going to get involved. All I had to do was hit a link off the internet and participate and hit a button to raise his hand and say, I agree with Mr. Osgood.
Yep. Yeah.
But instead, we sit there for another 35 minutes and utter repeat of the previous 4 meetings.
Mm.
And I'm so thankful that we don't have to experience, I nominate Lori Smith. Yes. Yes. No. No. I nominate Mark White. No. No. Yes. Yes. I nominate Connie Vasquez. Now. No. Yes. Yes. Now we might be able to get something done.
Would be nice, wouldn't it?
So what do we got coming up? We got a discussion about regionalizing our fire department series.
Regionalizing meaning what?
Yeah, they want to consolidate it with Modesto.
I just looked on the city council meeting for Turlock. As of Modesto, or I can talk. As of March 9th, city council meetings will be open to the public.
In Turlock.
In Turlock.
Because Turlock gets it.
I wish some people had told me that. I wish the news media would have reported on that.
Well, it was a closed session deal, so they don't know until they go to read the deal. But, they're in the same office as
this is on the Turlock
right.
City Council website. Like, this is kind of important news.
Right, but Jeff and his co-workers down there in the building at the Ceres, Courier, Turlock Journal, Manteca Bulletin need to do their job and report news, not bullshit about John.
Well, I do think it's important that the mayor, public health officers, somebody issue some sort of press release to the press. I mean, yes, I agree. The news media should be doing their job as far as reporting on what's actually going on. But
so,
where was everybody else?
Doesn't matter. So they're going to talk about Monday night fire regionalization, merging with the Modesto Fire Department. Well, we're paying taxes in Ceres to provide for a police and fire service. Is Modesto paying the same taxes on sales tax? Well, we merge with Modesto, we lose total control of our fire department. And if we can't handle our own fire services, there's already a consolidated fire department. We could contract through Stanislaus County for those services. Because if we couldn't provide our own policing, like Waterford or Patterson, then we would contract with the county for those services, and they would come through the sheriff's office. So you got to call in Monday, and you have to let them know that you want your fire department to remain your fire department. You don't want your fire department to be Modesto Fire Department. If that's the case, why don't we just disband the city of Ceres and let Modesto annex us?
Shirley says, "Oh, but we can keep the word Ceres on the fire trucks." Whoopee.
That's what they're going to do. Because they've already merged with Oakdale. So, I mean, Modesto and Oakdale are merged. But even so. Okay. I'd rather have an 18-year-old with a hose, Lee Brandt, volunteering and getting up in the middle of the night to come next door and help me fight my fire, than to have the unfunded liabilities that the unions have placed us in through state law mandating that we have hired firefighters. 20 years ago, we had volunteers. We didn't have a paid fire department. 40 years ago, we probably didn't have a single paid fire employee. And every police officer in Ceres carried turnouts in their vehicle. Even Louis Arroyo fought fires as a Ceres police officer. But now we're hijacked by the unions.
Shirley says, "I wonder if anyone remembers when Chance tried to put aside the marijuana money for fire and police."
Cooper's tried to do it as well.
This is exactly why.
Cooper has tried to do it as well. But your kings don't want that. And then agenda item 12 will be reopening the Ceres City Hall. Turlock's already opened, so guess what, Mr. Silvera? I'm coming at you with that one. Turlock has already opened. You know why they're open, Matthew?
Why are they open?
I'm pretty sure Amy doesn't want me or you calling in with the language I've been using in Ceres on her broadcasts.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the entire city council doesn't want John calling in with the numbers. I'm pretty sure they watch each other's broadcasts.
I would assume that they do, or at least get sort of briefing from somebody somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Anyhow.
So, they do have a closed session on Monday. It's a conference with labor negotiators. The city negotiator will be there. There's 3 city negotiators.
Yep.
There's a miscellaneous bargaining unit from the employee organization. There's a first-line supervisor, a confidential bargaining unit person, mid-management employees, public safety and mid-managers, Ceres Professional Firefighters Association organization, and Ceres Police Officers Association. That's a closed session meeting. Do you think Linda Rhino or Brett Silvera will recuse themselves?
Doubt it. Well, and it looks like Turlock City Council also had a similar meeting as well.
Yeah, because they had the same attorneys up until last week.
Yeah.
And they parodied
It does
each
look
other.
like there is a closed session item in Turlock for a public employee discipline / dismissal / release. That'll be
Fire their ass.
interesting.
Fire them off the roof.
I would hope that would be Miss Jennifer Land, but I doubt that that's the case.
Well, I'll be calling back in on Monday to get them meetings open.
I'm going to be sitting in person in my meetings.
You should be.
As long as I can get in there. Apparently limiting at the door 14 people.
14 people.
I brought this up with my council member Franco, and she mentioned that was an issue, that our chambers are not big enough to accommodate people and continue to follow guidelines.
Well, I guess that's better than a Joe Biden presidential campaign rally.
I guess. It's about 14 more people.
You know what, though?
Have you seen our chambers, though?
We don't have 14 people call into Ceres.
Yeah. No. Turlock has a little more participation. Have you seen our chambers, though?
No.
They're small. They are small, and I understand. I mean, we can fit, I think technically we're only supposed to fit, like, I'll get a picture.
Probably 30 or 40.
It's a little more than that. It's pretty small. I mean, I'm trying to think back on when I sat in the council meetings. I mean, 100 people in that room, including staff, would be packed. So it's small. I understand while I don't agree with it, I understand the reservation behind it.
Well, because you have to provide for social distancing for a viral attack that's not taking place.
Like I said, I think the issue is stupid. Those who are concerned about it, stay home.
Triple mask.
Stay home. I will probably a triple mask.
Next week, quadruple mask, because the triple masks
Yeah,
aren't working either. But they are giving you the bacterial pneumonia that is consistent with COVID.
I'm gonna if I have a chance, I'm gonna bring that up in public comment at our council meeting. I'm gonna use the numbers. Guidelines are not laws, or they're not rules. They're simply that. Guidelines.
No, the courts.
Do you know? Have you been to a county board of supervisors meeting?
The courts have already upheld that Gavin didn't have certain authorities.
Yeah.
So all this other the executive order.
Well, and look.
That's all.
We've always had the ability to watch Turlock City Council meetings via Spectrum, via YouTube. We now have the ability to participate via Zoom. It's fine. Like,
what we're being told is the courts don't matter. We're going to do what we want to do.
Yeah. But that's ignoring what everybody wants them to do.
I don't care if everybody wants them to stay closed. And I've already said it on this program. I want them to comply with state law. And state law says that they'll review this every 30 days. Do you know why we have a review or why we're discussing it now? Because it's 30 days from when I pressured them to review it.
To the best of my knowledge, and I cannot personally verify this, has been reviewed by the city of Turlock every 30 days. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I don't know whether that's a report of whether that's a closed session item, what it is. I don't know. There is a threat to public services or facilities closed session item.
Yeah, probably because
it's probably a COVID
One
item.
of them don't want it open and they want to reclose it.
Consultation with guess who?
Your chief of police.
Interim fire chief, who is our public health officer.
Okay. Interim, so he's not full-time. You, shut up.
It's because we lost our chief and he retired, and I don't know. This guy has been our acting city.
But why do we have to have? Okay, so
chief
we're in a similar position in Ceres. Why do we have to have a fire chief? At one time in Ceres, it was the Department of Public Safety, right? I've been over that police carry turnouts in their car. Right?
Right.
So the chief of police in Ceres oversaw the fire department as well through a lieutenant that was underneath him. So we could go back to that and save $250,000 in Ceres budget.
Yeah, we could say the same here in Turlock.
And force these guys to do their job. They're already being paid very well to do that job.
Right.
To oversee the police department. Well, because you separated our police and fire departments from the Department of Public Safety to make another job for another entrenched government agent, Mr. Bendigger. I know that's not his name. I know it's Ben Zigger. Why is he not talking about we could save $250,000 by not hiring a fire chief and making it back to how it was in Ceres before, where the police chief, where Rick Collins would be in charge of a lieutenant who oversaw the fire department. Oh, and by the way, it brings us back to that fire regionalization where we annexed a neighborhood that was serviced by Stanislaus Consolidated, so now we have to service that as the city of Ceres, and now we can't service Ceres as a whole because we're servicing the annexed area, which Lori Smith was involved in the annexation of that area.
Mm.
But she's supremely qualified. We're screwed. We gotta give up our control of our fire department because Lori Smith approved the annexation of a county area, and we took over Stanislaus Consolidated Fire's station and their service district, and now we can't service our own stuff.
Mm.
And you think that doesn't come up in public comment on that item number?
Sure it will.
Deputy Silvera, Ms. Rhino?
Sure it will.
What say you, Shirley? Do I let the cat out of the bag too soon? Unless Matthew uploads it today or tomorrow, that the audio
No,
won't be
it's
out
not going to be
for that.
uploaded today.
They'd have to be watching today or go back and watch.
Yeah. We're actually hitting the limit of the board here in a few minutes, so...
Yeah, I got you. I've already wanted to be done a half hour ago, but that's where it's at, so...
that's how it is.
It's over.
Keep the audio running. I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of Forgotten Liberty Radio. If you are interested, please subscribe to our podcast feed. Download our episodes. Listen to them on the go. 209-214-8099. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Forgotten Liberty Radio.